Shalom to elect Israel, to the hope of elect Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Want to give all praise to Barak, was shot. Barak, was shot. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, name of the Heavenly Father, who everybody ignorantly calls God. His true name in the ancient Hebrew, which is in the Rawchaa, Qadash. His true name is Yahawah. Bahasham means in the name of Yahawashi, is the Holy One of Israel. Everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah, who was slain at the foundations of the earth for the salvation of the elect of Israel. Then you got 2/3 of the wicked Israelites here in America, Babylon the Great, and the other wicked Israelites scattered across the four corners of the earth will come back to the loins of the elect after the destruction. The Rawchaa Qadash is the Holy Spirit that has been bestowed upon the men. The Heavenly Father gave his only begotten Son out of the world to complete this work. So we always want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone. Let us all to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness of baptized or part of the elect to the hopeful elect. Lord, when we part of that number, Lord, wouldn't you be able to find those who fear the name of the Lord, who are striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah 3:5, it is not slack. 2 Peter 3:9 is unto a ring. 2 chapter 5, verse 42. Shalom, now you sincere believers out there tune in here and on after Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak, Atham. We're going to get into, a lesson going into, been watching the apostles and elders on a few events that have happened over the last, several days. And we're going to go into some of that and continue to see how it plays out. So the title is Esau's Wickedness. It's an artificial fire that warms its prey with the illusion of power. Because a lot of people, we know that Esau, even the so-called white man, was given, authority, in the sense and wickedness by the Heavenly Father. But it's not, he didn't give him a real sense of true power. We haven't really seen the full power of Yahawashi. It's not been displayed on the earth yet. And you can think about all the situations that the earth has been through, the flood, various, disasters that we've seen throughout the earth, things he's done to Israel, things he's done to the other nations. But it's going to be nothing like Jacob's trouble, man. Jacob's trouble is going to be like a time like never before. Like he's going to display his true power. So right now, everything that we seeing that Esau doing, it seems that as if he's actually displaying a vast amount of power, but it's nothing compared to what the Lord's about to bring, man. And basically, the Lord just hired him. Okay, he's a hireling. Okay, to sow wickedness into the earth, basically to teach Israel, the lesson of why not to be wicked, man. Because when he get rid of Esau, it's going to be in the most terrifying way ever, man. Like when that Leviathan comes out of the earth and starts tearing shit up, man, like you're going to know that Yahawah's full power has not been displayed in the earth, man. And us as judges, how are you a judge if you don't witness that power? So it begins with the knowledge of what he is about to display. After these events play out, but we're going to go into some of the things, like we said, the apostles, I like listening to the apostles and the elders over, things that are going on in the earth when it comes to like big topics, concerning, Charlie Kirk and whatnot, and the woman on the bus and whatnot. We're going to point out a couple of those things. And I'm going to just put, a couple points that I want to put in on it. And then we're going to move on from it and see what it leads to. But we know that a lot of it is just to basically stir up chaos and to basically accuse Jake. And it's going to eventually put us in a time where it's not going to be the cool thing to be an Israelite, man. Like people think that we're trying to like fit in here or something. Like, no, we're declaring you the destruction of this place, man. We're not expecting everybody to like us, So this is to show you going into the title. Always Lord willing is edifying to the flock. This is Job chapter 14, verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So see, that's talking about Esau, even the so-called white man. He can't. He has power that was given to him by the Most High, fatness of the earth and the sword. But he has a limit. He can't reach past that limit, man. And the furthest he's going to get to is the mark of the beast, the MOTB. Okay, that's going to be, that's going to be as far as he can go. And then he's going to get destroyed. Verse 6, turn from him that he may rest till he accomplish as an hireling his day. Right? Going into at the end of the whole situation of judgment that's already been set, he's going to be destroyed. It's going to come a day where he's not going to be needed anymore. He's just a lesson. Really. They're not really. That's why I said that he's spoiled. Like we spoke about at camp, he's spoiled and his brethren. And basically at the end when it says he is not, it's basically saying, they're not going to exist. They're going to be eradicated from the earth, man. That's going to be the display of the Lord's wrath, man. Completely destroying the seed line forever. Like that's going to show you that's going to be the completion of the Lord's full wrath being displayed on the earth, man. So Daniel chapter 7, verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth out from before him, right? This is talking about Yahawah, the Ancient of Days. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, which basically the angels were all gathered there. All the angels, the wicked angels, everybody who's here right now. Okay, we were all in front of the Heavenly Father in a sense. Our spirits, he had us in his possession. And 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set and the books were opened. So it's already been set for Esau's bounds to only go so far. And, it's already set for the destruction to come on the earth, man. And, a lot of this stuff, just like Apostle Tahar was going into talking about, like, you got to kind of be, you want to kind of look into things in a lens of, they try to say it's conspiracy theories or whatnot, but we know that this stuff is not coincidental, okay? Because the Lord's already said everything. So once you start seeing the pattern on how things go, you start to get a more gist on, how the Most High rigged this thing, man. There's no bounds that you can pass, to go outside of His will, and that's what we're here to show you. So, we're gonna go into a couple of things that people have been mentioning concerning this whole thing, and it's not necessarily, something that we're not sure of, but we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how it plays out. But it says the shooting of Charlie Kirk, right? Mysterious book on Donald Trump allies' murder surfaces online, published about, but who knows, man? But we know one thing, that Esau, even the so-called white man, Satan is a spiritual demon in them, which is the father of lies. So a lot of this stuff you really can't put past. You can't put forth past. Like you can't really accept nothing this devil does, man. Okay, everything is meant to deceive you. That's their job. But we're gonna read it. We're gonna go into some more precepts on it. So Charlie Kirk, a prominent conservative activist, right, and close ally of President Donald Trump, was fatally shot Thursday while speaking at Utah Valley University. And a lot of stuff usually starts happening around 9/11, man. It always something, in an extent of chaos. Okay, because that's all tied into the way they set it up, man. The way the Lord had them set it up. Because when you, I've mentioned it before, but when you look up who founded Manhattan Island, it was Henry Hudson. And Henry Hudson, okay, that's why when you go to they got the Henry Hudson bars, they all got checkered floors. And he, they claim he founded Manhattan Island and named it Manhattan Island on September 11th, 1609, right? Then you got, going into when the Pentagon was created. That was September 11th, 1941. Then 60 years later, the Pentagon get blown up and 9/11 happens. Buildings get hit. So they're about orchestrated chaos. Okay, this is part of their methods. This is how the Lord trained them. This is how the Lord set them to be. These are His bounds. Okay, to create chaos. That's what they do. Okay, and they always do it numerically. We went into that word numerology and whatnot. We might go into it again, but I'm gonna make some points because Apostle Tahar pointed out. He pointed out something that Dabu 7 mentioned, and then I wanted to take that account, and Elder Ashiar, they were watching the news bulletin, and we're gonna back up those claims, man. So continuing, it says screenshots circulating online show a book titled "The Shooting of Charlie Kirk," a comprehensive account of the Utah Valley. So, there's also a video showing his wife. Okay, let me see if I can get it real quick. It shows his wife. She finally responded about the situation. She came out and did a little talk, and she basically spoke of saying, like, this was supposed to be something that was supposed to enrage these these people who claim they love the Lord. Okay, because if you have any kind of claim that you love the Lord and you seek true justice, then there's no way that you could think America is going to survive this judgment coming, bro. America has been the most violent, wicked place ever. Okay? Full of all types of wickedness, man. Okay? So there's no way that this place is going to survive. Let me get back over here. Let me see it real quick. Give me a second. Let me pull this over here and see if I can find it. In my email. I'm pretty sure I just sent it to myself. We're going to watch a little bit of it. Let me see. Let me see if I can just pull it up on YouTube real quick. Yeah. So I just watched it. It should be in my history. But yeah, man, these people, they conjure up lies, man, for a bigger narrative. And the main one is trying to get it to seem like Jake is the problem. Okay. This is how it was in Old Rome. You know, they tried to make it seem like we were the problem. Okay. They're trying to do the same thing here in the revived Roman Empire. Same thing. Let me see if I can find my here. Let me go to history. We'll listen to talk for a few seconds. We're going to go on another precept. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one, but we ain't gonna go into the whole. We ain't gonna go into the whole speech. Just want to kind of start at the beginning. So, let me do something real quick. Drag this over here. You know, and you know, Charlie Kirk supposedly spoke of, being basically trying to regain that American Christianity, Christian values, and the small hats and all them. They not with that, man. We're talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, these big banking companies, the first descendants of Esau eating the so-called white man. They're not wanting to see this place get better. Okay, they want to build another Rome out of chaos. So people like this, they're not liking that. Okay, because they want you to be accepting of it. And what he was doing, was kind of going against the system and was trying to basically keep it the way it is, in some sense. And there was other little controversial topics, that he spoke of too, but we're gonna stick with the basics of kind of, because a lot of people, there's a lot of people who are saying that the event was staged or and whatnot, but when it comes down to it, we'll never know, man. We'll just have to see, as things get revealed. But people are pointing out a bunch of different stuff concerning it, but we're gonna stick with the basics of knowing that we can't put nothing past this devil, man. They liars, but there is some things that we did notice as the elders and apostles and brothers. So let's see what she said first, and then we'll go into it. Hold on. I don't know why it can't be heard. Okay.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically.
So, and I remember they said that they didn't catch. They thought they caught somebody. They took some people in custody and they let them go, or whatever. But we're gonna keep going with it. I just want to make a point with something she said.
To save Charles's life. And the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family these past 2 days. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy, for all their work in these terrible days to be the stability for our family and for the wider Turning Point USA family as well. My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show, who helped him broadcast from this studio,
Hold on.
Diligence. Cloud understands what's in the image, the device, and the user.
This chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
So you see how the Lord set up these Edomites, man. They set them up to make it seem like, they have this incredible just love for, the Bible and all that. But when you go into, the scriptures, it speaks of how the Lord is, man. And the Lord, it says the day of vengeance is coming on this place, man. And, like we say, it makes you try to feel all warm and fuzzy, and they really care about the Lord, and that's what they do, man. And it's just an illusion, man. They don't really have the power that they say they have, man. And on the physical side, it may seem like that, but wait till the Lord's men show up, man. You're gonna see that, nah, man, they don't really have power like that. That's why the elders and apostles be saying, don't be letting these people make you feel don't let them make you feel nervous or scared, because we don't need to be afraid of these people, man. We got to act accordingly in front of them, of course, because the Lord's controlling them. But in all, say all, be all, man, they afraid of us, okay? They afraid of us because they know that we're administering true judgment in the earth. through the spirit and power of Bahasham shot, man. We'll finish it up.
Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr.
Okay.
Charlie loved life.
Okay, and now basically in the second, she gonna say something about how like the movement is now about to be bigger than ever. So basically, this whole thing of him being a martyr for, you know, good old JC. This has got all the so-called Christians in the earth talking about now we need to have a civil war. Okay, so they're trying to incite chaos. They're trying to find something that's gonna push enough people, you know, to make that move, man. And we've been seeing over the last couple of years these Edomites, all of them getting, you know, weapons, getting all their weapons ready, man. But if they really love the Most High, it talked about the Lord is going to take vengeance. So all this just getting ready for war then, in that sense, because they're not the people of the Most High, man. But this is what this going to bring. This is just, hold on. Because a lot of our people, Jake, you know, a lot of our people are believing this. Okay, a lot of our people are believing this. So whenever it comes to a point where they see that we're not in a sense where we're not agreeing with America, Babylon the Great and its customs, man. We're not agreeing with who they say is the Most High and who we say is the Most High. You know, our own people is going to be the main ones coming at us and putting us in this kind of situation. And this is what happened in that time as well. Okay. In the days when Yahawashi was on the scene, but this is going to happen again. So this is John chapter 16, verse 1. This is Yahawashi speaking. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. Why? Because most of our people is there with the enemy, and they're going to come at us and make it seem like we're the enemy, and they're going to think they're going to be doing the Most High service because Esau has got their little warm, fuzzy, artificial fire, you know, that like they just have such a passion for the Most High, but they don't read no scriptures. You say you love Jesus Christ so much, well, what he say then? Because they don't never read about nothing he be saying. We tell you what Yahawashi says. We let you know. He talk about all types of stuff. Okay? You know, burning this place up with fire. So verse 2, they shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth the Most High service. So they're trying to paint this narrative of like, we're just like the you know, we're the problem. Like, you know, I ain't gonna be surprised if it is like, you know, when they finally come up with pictures or whoever did it, wouldn't be surprised if it was a Jake, man. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to point the narrative like we're just like an uncontrollable, violent people. And we've never really actually been violent like that, okay? You know, we're not a people of violence because the Lord said he's slow to anger, okay? He's slow to anger. And they're not slow to anger, man. They get, when soon as these Edomites feel some type of way, they be online talking about you finna go to war, shoot people, everything. So it's not the same thing, man. It's not the same thing. But I want to point out some Apostle Tahar went into. It's like a little 5-minute video. Like I said, she came up with this speech saying, you know, because that's what they always do. This happens and they'll do some heartfelt conclusion on it. And then it'd be like, man, then people start acting out, man. But let me go to it. According to the screenshots, the listed publication date was September 9th, one day before the shooting. You know, and I'm telling you, it's always them Them numbers, okay? Okay, because, you know, September 9th would be 9/9, okay? They always do these numbers, okay? Because like when I said in another lesson back then, Nikola Tesla, he was a Freemason too. And he made a quote saying, if you understand the magnificence of the 3, 6, and the 9, you'll have a key to the universe. Basically, he was saying is they're using these numbers to basically speak to each other in code. Okay, that's what they're doing. Okay, so when you see these numbers pop up around news and stuff, a lot of it is orchestrated chaos. That's basically what 911 means. When you call 911, you call the phone and say, hey, there's something going on over here. Somebody's doing something orchestrated. It's orchestrated chaos. Okay, that's what they're doing. Okay, and it's been 24 years. You know, this is the 24th year since 9/11 happened. Okay, so that's all numerical. It's all going into they're gonna do certain stuff on these dates. Okay, because it's the way that basically they worship death, man. They worship Satan. Okay, so they're very numerical about how they do stuff. So it says the listing was allegedly visible on Amazon briefly before being removed. The images of the cover title and date quickly spread across X, fueling speculation about foreknowledge or a cover-up. Okay, and you know they be knowing what's gonna happen, man. They be knowing what's gonna happen, man. A lot of the times, and see, they went and announced it and did the whole speech about it on September 11th. They always have something crazy going on around now. It's got to be something that's supposed to make America rise up in anger and come and avenge America, right? That's what they did when 2001, okay? They're doing it again. They're trying to use this and, you know, other instances. But I want to play a small video if I can get my computer stop going slow. Bear with me. X out a couple of these, and then we watch a little bit of what Pastor Har said, and I'm gonna tie it in to Elder Ashiar and them. They were talking about it too. I want to point out something to show you, like they're always using these numbers around orchestrated chaos. That's what I'm trying to say. We can't just 100% prove that it was or each other, man, because they're spread out, okay, and they got all types of people everywhere, so that's how they communicate. They communicate through numbers, man. But watch this real quick, and I'm gonna point out something. Then we're gonna pull up another precept.
Bahasham, Bahasham, Qadash, Shalom to the 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. Make this super quick. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video "Something is Rotten in Denmark," short for "Something is Rotten in the State of Denmark." So there's a video put up by Dabu77 entitled "Charlie Kirk Anomalies and Anomalies," which means not named. That's when you look it up. An anomaly is something that's not named. Anyway, death announced 6 days before a shooting.
See?
Mystery books 33 all over it.
See?
And more.
See? So he's saying he's saying it was 6 days before, so he doesn't play the video, but you know, obviously he has some in there to prove that. Okay. And then it says mystery books, and then it's 33 all over it, right? There's some numbers that we're talking about. Now, are we able to go in and find something in the news to be able to see if that's if this was a part of it? We'll see. We'll see in a second. Because I found something when he played the Elder Ashiar, he was playing the video, and it was literally just like that. We're gonna prove it.
So I'm not going to play the video. for almost 5 minutes long. So let me look up the word or the term. Something is rotten in Denmark. The actual term is something is rotten in the state of Denmark. There's a famous line from Shakespeare's Hamlet, spoken by Marcellus, which signifies that there is a fundamental corruption, moral decay, or something deeply wrong within a situation or organization.
That's what's going on right now. And the Lord has fundamentally corrupted Esau, even the so-called white man, man. It said this. I'm gonna put another precept in because it's been a second. Okay, there's something corrupt and morally wrong with these people, man. Okay, they're not who they say they are, man. They claim they love the Lord and their precious Savior, and they don't ever read no scriptures to you. Okay, all they did was when he went to all them bits, all he talked about was nothing but the scriptures. They said that the Lord is a spirit of prophecy in Revelation 19:10. You guys to be talking about if you love the Lord, you're going to read the scriptures to people. That's love the Lord. Love is correction. How you gonna correct somebody with your own words when it said the heart is deceitful above all things, which is your mind? How you gonna give somebody correction in time to understand the will of the Lord, but you ain't even gonna read it to them? Because they're crooked, man. There's something real wrong with these people, man. It's Ecclesiastes 1 verse 15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. When it's saying that which is wanting cannot be numbered, it's talking about Israel. You know, the people of Israel, we want to have the kingdom back. We want to have our our unity back with Yahawashi. You know, in a sense we have it right now, but we don't have it fully until he returns. You know, we're fighting the sinful flesh. So Esau is crooked, man. They can't be made straight, man. And this is, you might have people like, Charlie Kirk's wife. Maybe she doesn't know anything about it, or maybe she does. We don't know. But we know that all these people, they're about numerology, man. They're very deep into that. Okay, so going here, like he was saying, we're gonna let him speak a little bit more, and then we're gonna point it out.
The phrase refers to the widespread dishonesty and evil that has taken hold of the kingdom of Denmark, stemming from King Claudius, or Claudius's murder of his brother and a hasty marriage to the queen. Now, as you know, Shakespeare, these are stories. These events never happened. Shakespeare was a storyteller. He made plays like Othello. No such guy as no Othello. Desdemona, the woman that he was.
So, he goes into that a little bit more. And, he kind of explains a little bit more on, how Dabu 7 pointed out all these different numbers or whatever, but we don't try to go too deep into it. But I want to show an account of it to one of the brothers, and they didn't even mention it. But what they mentioned was they, the elder down here, GMS praying always, GMS pray always, hopeful elect. He said he'd been reading a book called The Fourth Turning, and I did a video on that like a year ago or so. Okay, going into the Civil War and how they use order out of chaos to bring their so-called justice or new reform system, man. That's how it is. When stuff ain't working, Esau just destroys it all and rebuilds it. That's how he does stuff. And we're coming on that fourth turning. We're coming on the last time he's going to try to do this chaos to bring order. And the Lord's going to be the one that really brings order out of chaos, because he's going to destroy everything in this motherfucker. So watch this.
All right, Shalom. All right, says we live. Let's check the feed. Bear with us. Okay, we live. Shalom. All right. Before we get started, we want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who taught us the truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, we're back at you with another live lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Qadash. All right, and this is prophecy news. Charlie Kirk unalived in major psyops, chaotic times indeed. All right, so between last night after camp and this morning, a lot of content is going out about this guy. The internet is on fire right now, man. I mean, I'm talking about every news channel, every news outlet is talking about this shooting, this assassination.
Right, and they did the same thing, and when 9/11 happened, everything was just all focused on that. That's how you know this is something they're trying to use to make it a pivotal point of America rising up. They're trying to bring back that morale, right? That's what they're trying to do. Okay, they're trying to bring order through chaos. Okay, and they're using other instances too. We're going to point out, but we'll continue.
Also, as we brought out the other day, dealing with the stabber out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So basically, what the point of this lesson that we want to point out here is that it's definitely major psyops going out, man. All right, that's why the scriptures command us. Matter of fact, let's open up with that, and we'll get into the video. But the scriptures command us to be circumspect, okay? Because there's a lot of weird shit going on, a lot of controlled type of activity, man. All right, so you got to be on your you got to be on the swivel, man. You got to keep your head on the swivel, right? And you can chime in on anything if you want to, add in there.
I mean, just like you said, right? This whole thing, right? Regardless of whether if it was a setup or things of that nature, we see the times that we're living in, man. Right? Violence is going to be continuing to amplify. These attacks aren't going to be strange anymore, man. Mm-hmm. Right? Soon it won't be headlines to see people getting killed in the streets, man. Right? To see.
And we just had an instance that happened in Dallas. Some dude got beheaded right in front of everybody, man. Okay, they watched him, saw his head off, man, and they had it all on camera. So that's what they're doing, man. They're starting to make it to where they're starting to get you used to seeing chaos. They're desensitizing the masses right now to get used to seeing chaos, man.
Governors or people in politics, right, find themselves in similar situations.
Yep.
Right? They're preparing the people's minds to be more accepting of these things happening. Right?
Yeah. So, and we got a video we're gonna play later, but like we said, we talked about the psyops. They're desensitizing the public to get used to of seeing mass shootings, people getting executed publicly.
See,
all right, it's all part of that, man.
See,
all right, and we're gonna show you this. But go ahead, brother.
That's Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Yeah, not as fools, but as wise, man. This isn't the time to be simple, Jake. All right. You see what's going on. There was a video that one of the elder brothers has shared. I guess the guy, what's the guy name from Fresh and Fit? Myron. All right. He was on the that community. What's that community chat thing called? Something house, whatever they all Clubhouse, right? And he had his people on them telling him, like, look, you shouldn't go out to the next debate. Because I guess he was going to some university to do a debate like Charlie Kirk did. And they were like, yo, like, don't even do it. Like, you could be next type shit, man. So that the spirit is, look, you got to be circumspect, man. You guys want to go out there and debate and do all of this bullshit, right? Hey, you guys better be locked in, man. Okay? It's time to be circumspect. This shit is real. Hey, when that viral video went out of Kirk fucking leaking out his neck, all right, that was a wake up call, bro. All right, it's not a game out here. Go ahead, bro. So I can read it again.
God, Ephesians 5:15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil.
You got it. Go ahead, bro.
Right. We're in evil times, man. Right. You have to understand the position that you're in right now, man. We're watching that transition to where they're gonna put the world in a position where you have to bow the knee, right, under Esau's system, man. And in order to do that, they have to have this political upheaval. They have to have chaos in the streets. And all these things you see taking place are just stepping stones to that ultimate martial law being implemented.
See, and to do that, it has to be calculated. That it's not going to just be random how that comes about. Okay, they're going to initiate that artificially, man. It's a artificial, kingdom, man. That's why it's being turned into AI. So you can't. They're getting to the point where they're making videos. Like I seen one yesterday. They tried to make it seem like they had this 2-headed pit bull dog. Okay, and it looks real. You know what I'm saying? It looked real, but it had one of them had a white spot on the head, and then when the camera when it like blinked over to another scene of them eating or something, the white spot on the head was on the other head. That was the only way you was gonna be able to tell that shit was real. That's how the good they're getting with AI. Okay, so you're getting to a point to where the only thing that we're gonna be able to trust in is prophecy, man. You're not gonna be able to trust in nothing on TV. Okay, because a lot of that could be just staged and it didn't even really happen, man. And then everybody then just had an uproar and then went crazy for nothing. That's how they work, man.
There you go. Charlie Kirk was the fall guy. He's the guy they used that's going to push more of this police state martial law, all right, censorship of speech, okay, locking down America is all here, man. Like I said, even a blind man can see this shit, man. Okay, it's all set up. So let's get into it. Unless you have anything else.
Check this out.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Right now, a manhunt underway for the assassin who shot and killed conservative political icon Charlie Kirk during a campaign.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't they already catch the guy? I thought they had somebody, like the videos online showing them, rounding up a Edomite, an old Edomite dude. So they didn't catch the guy? So what's going on? See, it's a lot of, that's the point we're making. It's a bunch of confusion going on, man. Okay?
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Right now, a manhunt underway for the assassin who shot and killed conservative political icon Charlie Kirk during a campus event in Utah.
The 31-year-old co-founder of Turning Point USA was struck by a single bullet roughly 20 minutes after taking the stage for his American comeback tour.
People around the world are mourning the loss of one of the driving forces behind the modern conservative movement, many praising him for creating Turning Point and the impact it has had on the American political landscape.
When did you form Turning Point?
In June of 2012.
And why did you call it Turning Point?
You know, at the time, I felt as if we were kind of in a generational turning point. I said, hey, I think we could do a better job of reaching young people.
Yeah.
And now we contrast what we've been able to do, largely thanks to the movement that President Donald Trump has built. We've kind of been riding that energy and that momentum with where the Democrats are now currently. I mean, the tables have completely flipped over the last decade. And it goes to show that this patriotic revival is being led by the youngest Americans. That should give everyone a lot of hope.
We are going to be talking to young conservatives across the country this morning who are reflecting on Kirk's legacy. To countless young people, he was the voice of their generation, pointing to his iconic campus visits where he would open the floor to debate on top political issues. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Thursday morning. I'm Carly Shimkus.
And I am Todd Pyro. Let's get straight to Matt Finn, live from Orne, Utah, with the latest on the man. Matt.
Todd, it is calm and quiet here on campus of the Utah Valley University right now. Just a stark contrast to the horror that ripped across this campus.
So right now he's over here talking. When you, like we said, they use numbers to show that it was orchestrated. Okay. So when you look up here, it's live. It's 2:01 a.m. That's 3. It's all just everything, man. You know, but we're gonna point it out. Hold up.
It's not long ago, and if I step off camera right now and we push in, you could see a terribly grim scene. You might be able to make out the outline of that white tent that Charlie Kirk was inside of when he was fatally shot on this campus. I believe it might have been a part of his Prove Me Wrong table. This was all a part of Kirk's American comeback tour. He had planned to attend several other universities and college campuses around the country in the coming weeks and months. Right now, the shooter is still at large. 2 suspects were taken into custody, but both were released. The FBI set up a tip line. Authorities say the shooter appeared to be in all black and on a roof. Here is dispatch audio describing the suspect.
Going to be wearing all black, black long gun, black tactical helmet, a black mask, possibly wearing a tactical vest and jeans.
The Utah Valley University Chief of Police says 6 police officers were working this event in addition to Charlie's personal security.
Right. 6 police officers, right? They named that. What else?
Team, 3,000 people.
3,000
packed
people.
Onto this.
See, there's the numbers. There's the numbers right there. They're showing you right in the news that they set that up, and you can't prove it. But then you got people that we don't even deal with, like Dabu 7. He ain't in the brotherhood. He's saying the same thing, and that's what Apostle Dahar was saying. He was like, you got to be a little bit of you know, because the conspiracy is like 2 people plotting or seeing something or planning something, and that's what this place is. It's a conspirator, man. It's a conspiring nation. When stuff like this happens, it's a lot of people on that, man. Okay. Hey, man.
Campus to listen to and engage with
whatever.
Charlie.
We seeing the numbers though. You know, if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. Whatever. But this why you can't trust this devil, man. Okay, they are the father. They are controlled by the father of lies, man. Satan himself. Okay, that is a spiritual demon inside Esau, even the so-called white man. Okay, they will never tell the truth ever. And mainly the people that we're coming at is the head. We're coming at the top head banking companies, man. These just regular Edomites out here, like y'all down here damn near broke with us. We ain't even really worried about them. It's John chapter 8, verse 44. This is Yahawashi speaking. Ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. And this is going into, you know, also wicked Israelites. You know, mainly speaking of the 2/3 here in America, Babylon the Great. You know, and then you got other wicked Israelites scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. That's how they are since the very beginning. That's how you know that they were there. Okay, in a sense, but their curse hadn't, you know, completely played out yet. You know, that was part of prophecy, though. You know, that the Lord would separate those seed lines, the so-called Negroes and the so-called white people. That's Jacob and Esau. Those are the main 2 people in the story, man. Everybody else is just, you know, side people to the movie. Because there is no truth in him. There's none. So whatever they're doing, it's going to be out of orchestrated chaos. When we're talking about mainstream headline news, it's always going to be orchestrated chaos. So when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Simple, man. So they got, you know, just just like Apostle Tahar said, something is rotten in Denmark, man. Basically, it's a phrase saying that it signifies there is a fundamental corruption, moral decay, or something deeply wrong within a situation or organization. All situations that are mainstream are like this. Something's wrong in Denmark. That's how it is. There's never nothing up there where it's not going to be full of confusion, period. And that's why all the elders and apostles are saying something's wrong with this whole situation. It's weird. So be careful what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Be careful where you're going and shit. You know? And be, you know, kind of look into stuff. If you're seeing that it's looking like a bunch of damn the same numbers, 3s and 6s, 9s is everywhere, you probably shouldn't go over there because they finna orchestrate some chaos over there. That's kind of what I'm saying too. You got to look at your surroundings and see what's going on. like, and they be doing that too. Because I went to Walmart. That day or whatever. It was on the 11th. I went to go get like some soap and stuff or whatever, and all the aisles were closed except one, and it was aisle 24. Like, and it's 24 years since, like, they do it in the smallest ways, man. But when you start looking around, you start seeing that shit, man. That's why you got people like Dabu 7 pointing out all that shit, man, because it's real. So, you know, they went into this deadly stabbing of Ukrainian refugee, which Ukrainians, they're small hats too. Okay, they're Amalekites. So refugee on Charlotte light rail raises questions about public safety. Now, there was an Edomite who pointed out he did a video on it, but they took it down. But he showed like it didn't even look, it looked staged, you know, because he said like it looked like she had something in her hand. Like when it shows like when it first stabbed her or whatever, there was no blood coming out or nothing. She was just looking down and holding her head down and had her hands over her eyes, like and you couldn't even really see no blood or nothing. And then when she like laid on the ground, there was like in the chair, it was like a real tiny little puddle of blood, but that doesn't even make no sense. It would have been up here. It would have been all over her shirt and shit. You know, and then he like showed her like with her hand on the rail, and then, you know, he was like, how's she even holding herself up if she got stabbed in the neck like that? Like, how's she even holding herself up or whatever? But, you know, whatever, she could have. But then he shows her taking her hand and then like looking like she was trying to grab something in her pocket, and then you know how if you've seen somebody get stabbed, like, you know, it doesn't work the same way. Like the way when it was like she used like a blood packet or something, man, to make it look like she got stabbed to death. So a lot of this stuff, man, to make them be able to accuse Jake is a violent people, man, and accuse the majority of America as violent people, you know. But then you got, you know, like Charlie Kirk, he was trying to build America in a way where it wasn't orchestrating chaos. He was trying to use, you know, the Christian values and being, you know, holy and all that. And they said, no, we don't want that. We want chaos. Okay. So like he's like the elder said, he's just a fallback guy, man. He's just the person they wanted to use to stir. And then you got this situation happening over there with Jake, you know, stabbing this woman on the bus supposedly. And this is what's going to make them accuse us as dangerous criminals. And then you got everything going on there in Chicago. These YNs over there just bugging out, shooting in the middle of the street. Okay? In all types of day, man. So they're painting a narrative right now to where they're going to look at us as a whole as we're the problem. Okay? Just like they did in Overrun. Revelation 12, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying, in heaven now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power. Basically going in whenever the Lord destroys these kingdoms, 144,000 elect men come down here with the Heavenly Father or with the Son, and we gain dominion of the earth. Slack, give me a sec. Allergies been battling these allergies with the weather changing. And Esau putting all the stuff in the air. In the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach, talking about Yahawashi, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before the Most High day and night. And that's what they do. Day and night, they always trying to come up with a way to make an accusation against us as if we are not, the people of the Lord, man. So this is one of these things. They talking about public safety and all this. This is another thing they're gonna use to crack down more on, controlling. And that's what they did even during 9/11. When that happened, they're like, oh, we need more safety in the airports and stuff. So that's what they're doing now. Now they're cracking down to more than just the airport. They're going in deeper into that. To where it's going to be way more security on subways now, way more security, and so they're setting up that police state, just like Elder Aisha was saying. And while that's happening, it's causing most of these Edomites to not deal with us. So it says unemployment spike for Black Americans, so-called Black Americans signals broader economic risks, economic risk. So they're starting to not really want to work with us because they're taking those narratives and they're painting it as if we're just a violent people. And Esau is the hammer of the earth. They're the most violent people on the earth, man. There's nobody more violent than these Edomites. And another thing on the chat, one of the elders, they posted, it talked about, with Chat GPT, they starting to, whatever you put on that thing, they'll use it. They could use it against you or something. You know what I'm saying? Like they had one that somebody got copyright infringement or something. So you got to be careful with that thing too. Whatever you be asking it. Mainly I just go into scriptures and stuff, but every now and then we'll ask for statistics. But just be careful with that thing, man, because they're using that to try to accuse us too, as if we're just out here, trying to steal people's identity when our identity has been stolen. We're trying to, reclaim our identity. We're trying to declare our identity to Jake, man, that we're the Israelites, and we're coming to a point where it's not going to be fun being an Israelite, man. Okay, because they keep having all this chaos going on. And this is another thing that going on in Dallas. We're going to point out that, and then I want to put some precepts on it.
And finally, in Dallas, a tragic story is making headlines. A 50-year-old Indian origin motel manager lost his life in a horrifying machete attack right in front of a broken washing machine, spiraled into an act of unimaginable violence, all captured on camera.
And, they try to make it seem like it was just over a washing machine. It had to be a deeper situation than that, because you do have some of these these Elamites, these Ishmaelites, Elamites of the East Indians. These guys are a lot of them are slumlords, and they be treating they apartment attendees like having them living in inhumane conditions and stuff, man. And then people be asking them for months, about certain stuff need to get fixed, and then they making them pay that rent on time, and then but the Lord's getting it to where now them spirits of vengeance is on people, man, and he's gonna make people start snapping, man. The Lord's not, because of everything like we said, the judgment was already set, man. So when nobody perishes innocent. So if you get your ass beheaded in the middle of a parking lot in front of your wife and your kids, hey, that's judgment from Yahawashi. And that's supposed to put fear in the people, but it really doesn't. It only does for the hopeful elect, man. Because we know that was orchestrated by Yahawashi. It says the issues of death belong to the Lord. So he made sure that happened like that. And then they got the camera him dragging his head across the street and everything, throwing it out in the street. Like that's Yahawah. That shows you how much Yahawashi has got this place finna go crazy, man. I'm gonna continue.
Suspect, a colleague of the victim with a violent past, has now been arrested and charged with capital murder. Our next report has all the details.
A shocking crime in Dallas is making headlines. An Indian origin motel manager was brutally killed in front of his own family. The reason? An argument over something as ordinary as a washing machine. 50-year-old Chandramoli Bob Igamlayar, originally from India's Karnataka, was the manager of a motel in Dallas. On Wednesday morning, what began as a dispute over a broken washing machine spiraled into unimaginable violence. According to court documents and witness accounts, Igamlayar told his co-worker, identified as Cobos Martinez, not to use the machine. He reportedly asked a female colleague to translate the instructions rather than addressing Martinez directly. That small exchange left Martinez enraged. Moments later, in a fit of anger, Martinez chased the manager. The frightened victim ran toward his motel office, where his wife and son were present.
That's crazy, man. We're gonna pull up a couple of precepts, and this is why the elders, they were saying, "Hey, man, hey, be smart out here. Like, be careful how you talking to people and stuff right now, because the Lord's stirring the spirits up in these heathens and in Jake, wicked Jakes, to just be doing just crazy ass shit, man. So we got to really be careful out here, and we got to make sure that we control ourselves to where we don't act hasty in a time of trouble. We don't lash out in a situation or anything, man. Because a lot of people are the Lord is putting the curses on these people, man. Because they didn't try to touch this book and talk about how they love the Lord so much, right? Talking about God bless America, right? Well, the Lord is cursing them for that. Okay, it says it in the last scriptures of the book. You had to take away from this book, then the plagues is going to be added unto you. And the plagues is coming on this place right now. So people are going to start being a lot more short-tempered. So we got to be careful, dealing with these people, man. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So that's what we have against them as a weapon, is to be slow to anger. That's a weapon, okay? And we ain't saying like a physical weapon. That's a spiritual weapon, to be slow to anger. That's how the Most High is. It says to apply ourselves like Yahawashi, and he that ruleth his spirit, and he that ruleth his spirit, then he that taketh the city. So the Lord is always, putting the spirit on the prophets to in those times remind Israel that, hey man, don't be letting your anger get the best of you right now. Okay, because a lot of these people, they man, they're just looking for a reason to come at you, man. So James chapter 1, verse 19, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Verse 20, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of Yahawah. It doesn't work the righteousness of Yahawah. So that's not the way we got to be. We got to be to where, a lot of stuff we ain't just saying, we just going, just be passive. But what we're saying is be circumspect and don't answer in a way where it's going to put you in a dangerous situation, man. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger, because your words is what it can start wars, man. It can start, just like it said, it was just a conversation over a dryer, and he told her to do it this way and translate it to him, and she didn't do it right, and that stirred his spirit up, to a whole nother situation, man. And of course, we know World War III is going on. just recently on September 11th, when all that was happening, all that stuff with Charlie Kirk and all that and whatever. This is what Poland's doing right now. They sent 40,000 troops to the border with Russia in Belarus. So they getting ready for World War III while everybody's focused on this one Christian dude. They're over there getting all their troops and bringing them to the Valley of Yahawashi, okay, which is the Valley of Decision, the Valley of Judgment, okay, over there in the Middle East, where it's always a hot zone, okay, preparing for World War III. So that's another thing. You know, we always go into a Revelation 11:14. The second woe was past, the third woe coming quickly. That's talking about World War II and World War III. So I just want to pull out one more precept, and then we're gonna get out of here. Just a couple things in Sirach. One of the brothers, GMS, Take Heed Israel, put it on the comment board at camp. So I wanted to go over it because he posted it, and we're gonna read through, you know, maybe to about the 10th, a little bit down there, yeah, maybe like 12. So this is Sirach chapter 10, verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered, and we spoke of that, and that's what we're doing. We're giving instructions on how to act in these times, man. We got to redeem the time right now, because most of us didn't come into truth until, we were in our early 20s, early 30s. So we're redeeming all that time that we were lost in this place, man. We're redeeming that time by putting, our undivided attention into Bahasham and the flock, man. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. So that's how a lot of this stuff that they're doing, the Amalekites and these rich Edomites, man, we know that these people are wicked. So, we know that it trickles down to even the people. Okay, it's a like Elder Apostle Tahar said, going into that phrase that Shakespeare said, it's a fundamental morally disruption in this place, man, when it comes to the whole system. And if you believe in it, then you're a part of that dysfunctional system. So as the judge of the people himself saw his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through prudence of them that which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right? We carefully point out things to try to get the hopeful elect, out there to keep in mind as you go through your day, man, what you're doing and what you're saying to people. Because the Lord, just like Zaquan, my elder, was going there one day, and a lesson he did, that the Lord's watching how you act around these heathens too when you're at work and stuff, man. And a lot of the times they since the people who's ruling over them are this way, they're wicked. They're not going to really do a lot of things. That they're going to do a lot of things that vex you, but you still got to keep. You can't lash out, man. You got to just keep your head down for the most part, man. Because these people out here is starting to lose their damn mind, man. And it's going to get worse. So it says the power of the it says the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Right? We're in an unprofitable situation right now, man. There is nothing that you can profit out of this situation, man, other than salvation. Everything else here, we have to look at it as unprofitable. Doesn't mean that we not go to work and whatever we got going on, but we have to make sure that our eyes is on the prize, man, and that's serving Yahawashi and completing our service, man, which is uncompletable. It said it's a debt we can't even repay. So it's it's complete whenever he come and get us, if we, we're the elect. So in the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Going into, the Lord gets to decide, what your end is, man. And the ones who put their trust into this work, they're the ones who are going to get the honor at the end with the Yahawashi. And we'll just read, because I want to go into a little bit with pride, because that's what's destroying this place. I want to read in the GNT, and then we'll get out of here. It says, bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong. And that's going into like your fellow Israelite, fellow brother. You don't want to get on them for everything they do wrong, because that's how this place is. They get on you for every single little thing you do wrong and shit. That's Jake. We're not supposed to be doing that to each other, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Basically, don't do anything out of a prideful heart. Don't do anything out of a hasty heart. So you're gonna end up, displeasing the Most High. Verse 7: pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Sin upon sin. Verse 8: because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one to another. So we can stop right there. But I want to just read. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna just read a small portion of it. And like I said, like even in one, it says a wise ruler will educate his people. Like that's what the elders and apostles did for us. They educated us on how to understand, like, all these events that's going on in the earth, they're orchestrated. They're not just random events. Okay. And we got to be on the lookout. So we're just going to read the part where it talks about pride. It says, don't be angry with someone for every little thing he does wrong. And that's really going into, the brotherhood ultimately. You don't want to just look at somebody and just everything they do wrong, you just be on their ass. Like, but it does say that the father hated his son if he spare his rod, if he doesn't discipline him. But you don't want to do it too much, because then it says your son will hate you. So you have to have a balance, to where like you got to kind of let them figure it out, man. And that's how it is when you're trying to get somebody to come into the truth. They're like a newborn babe. You don't just, every time you see them doing something they know they're not supposed to be doing, you just got to let them kind of figure it out a little bit and continually, teach them the word. And then if they they become convinced in their own mind, they come into the fold, okay, or come into, even if they're not, and when we come to the fold, it's like as a believer. It doesn't necessarily mean a prophet. It could be somebody who's just actually a believer, and they believe in Yahawashi, begin to pray in those names, begin to slowly build their life. But during that time, you don't want to just be like on their ass, like pointing out. That's what we went over in class, when it came to Peter and Paul and their positions, and bringing Israel back, to that understanding of, what Yahawashi did for us and whatnot. There was particular Israelites that were just being super hard on the Gentiles, which, we know were Israelites scattered, and born outside of the land. That's who Paul went to go get. Okay. Foreign Israelites. Okay. But, there were some of them that they were just like, you just got to do everything right. And it was just on their ass. And that's not where we supposed to be, man. You got to let somebody grow and into it. So don't do anything out of injured pride. Arrogance and injustice are hated by both the Lord and people. Injustice, arrogance, and wealth cause nations to fall from power. That's the three things that are going on here. Injustice, arrogance, and wealth. Because there's another video of this guy saying it was some kind of politician. He was like, America is the best country in the world. It's just the greatest ever. You know, they're arrogant. And that pride and that injustice and wealth, man, that's what's causing them to fall from power right now. And others then rise to take their place going into the elect, with Yahawashi. So, I just wanted to point out those things. And, we're gonna close it out right there. Lord willing, edifying to the flock. Shalom to Lake Israel, hopefully Lake Israel, Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites, like the other nations, carry across the four corners of the earth. Want to give our praise, Barak, that was shy. Double honors to those and apostles and great millstone, let us all to this truth. Peace and blessings to the elect. Lord willing, edifying to the flock. Wa Abba Ba, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.